Okay, welcome to probably the last stream of the week. We've been doing quite a bit more of these streams over the past few months. Today, I want to talk a little bit about something new we're doing with this channel. Give you a little heads up on the changes that are taking place. So hopefully you're watching this, or now or later. But if you're curious as to why you notice less live streams, that's due to the fact that we've finally turned on the channel memberships. This is a feature that YouTube allows content creators to use to help build a tighter community. And what the deal is that I'll still be doing live streams, but it's going to be one of the membership features. And this, I think it's going to work out for those who are the most interested in the streams. I'm assuming it's going to be a small group at the beginning, but we're designing this so it has a lot of value, and so that's the big news. It's going to be a way to more intensely learn logic. The members who support that feature are going to be able to request topics. They're going to be able to suggest video content. They're going to have uh, membership access to the live streams. We'll still be doing other content for everybody, just normal videos and the occasional live stream. But I think it's time to turn this up a little bit in terms of what it means for the live streams, and then I can plan for them a little differently and actually get a schedule each week and set this up in a way that's more valuable to everybody. So that's the plan. We're calling it front of the class. So that's the membership level. All that means to me, I'm a professor, so it's like when I come into a classroom on campus, it's like you can tell the different types of students by where they sit in the room. There's the ones who are sitting in the back, too cool for school, and then there's the ones who just like plop right down the front and say, you know what, I'm I'm paying for this class. I want to get everything out of it. I want to be able to see what's happening and interact. And so that's the group that we're looking for the memberships for this channel, the ones who want to sit in the front of the class. We'll see how it goes. It could be with a lot of YouTube features over the years. Some of them work great and some of them don't, and we kind of just go with the flow as people who put up content, and I'm hoping that this is one that will help. I don't know, for instance, how much content creators are really supposed to be talking about the YouTube algorithm in terms of a video getting seen, but certainly there's there's been some big changes with AdSense and monetization of channels of late. My videos are up. It's like 30% more viewership over the past few months, and the corresponding AdSense revenue is down. So it's just they're going through something, and it's hard to say exactly how that's going to turn around. So I will continue to always make content. I love making content. I made content long before AdSense or anybody was throwing money in any directions, and I will continue to do it afterwards. But I really want to tighten down this one part of it, the live streams. And so the live streams are going to be for those who are members, and they'll be communicated through the YouTube platform. There's a place where you can just talk to members, and we can coordinate timings and all of that fun stuff. Jerome is asking, is the subscription sign up information available somewhere? It should be directly on my channel page. So if you go to the channel, um, I don't know if it's showing up on the actual live stream page right this second. Let me look as well. It is live. I know that. They've started sending me all the messages about it. Let me see about. So there should be a tab on my channel page for memberships, and on most videos now it should be. Um, on the videos as well at some point. That's a good question, Jerome, about working on the iPad app. I know the service works on there. I'm not sure, depending on which version of the app you have, I don't know if the button is showing up there or not. So you may have to go to the actual desktop version of it. That part we're going to sort out. And I think I'll go to one of the other browsers that I have that's not signed in. When I look at it, of course, it looks a little different. I think there's always, with these type of platforms, some room to make things easier. We run into that with our learning management systems we use at the university, so that it certainly sometimes has some issues. Let's see, YouTube. I'm typing in. I'm just doing this on my second monitor in Chrome, where I'm not signed in right this moment. So here's the channel. And then there's a button that says join. So it's the join button that you'd click to become a member. And once you join, you have to be signed in to join. It'll give you more details. And we're still refining that. There will be, it says right now there'll be one live stream, but what I'm guessing is going to happen with this is that we're going to do 2 live streams each week for the members at different times of day. So that way the majority of people who want to be on the actual live stream can do it. And then you'll still have access to the streams after the fact. And it'll just be members that have the ability to join the live stream and talk back and forth, but they'll also have the access to join it later and watch it after the fact. So for instance, how I envision this sometimes, because not everybody can join every live stream. That'd be, I think, a little bit presumptuous to assume that that's a possibility every day, every week, whatever. But when we talk to members, so say you're having an issue in Logic and you're like, you know what, I'm really struggling with this one part of it. Maybe you can't join the live stream, but we'll make sure every topic that gets brought up by the membership gets addressed on a stream. So you'll be able to go to the video after the fact, see the table of contents on it, go right to the part where your question is addressed, and you'll be able to have that information. So it may be slightly delayed. However, you're going to get customized, support for the issues you're facing. That's the kind of group that I'm envisioning this. It's like one where, we're answering questions and dealing with the things that each person really wants. The live streams where I'm more recently sharing more of my creative process, songwriting, those ones I think will still be public. I don't know. That's not exactly the value that I'm envisioning for a membership, is just watching me write songs. But that's more of a more generic, general thing. And then the heavy duty topics, diving into alchemy with someone who's having an issue, or members sending me their projects. And we actually open up their projects and go through mixing and talk about some of the tools that they could be using in those situations. So I think that there's a few different options. The other benefit that everyone gets who's a member is a monthly upload. I'm going to be taking a lot of our vintage synthesizers. We have like a ton of them on our campus, and I've got a number of things too. And each month I'm going to be sampling one of those instruments, and then every member will get a link where they can download those things. And so you'll get that downloadable content as well as the live stream. So it's like a 2-for-1, right? But the ability to communicate more directly and give ideas for videos and get some of the content really customized to you, I think that that's one thing I want to do. But without this mechanism, I think that it's a little bit too nebulous. It's a little too wide in its scope, and I want to narrow it down just to those who are really serious. And that's why we're going to do this particular membership. Interesting. So that's what it said, Jerome. Purchasing memberships on iOS is not available on all channels. So you should be able to still go and do it on a computer and have access to it, even if you can't do it directly on the iPad itself. You'll still get, for instance, information about the streams and all of that stuff. But you may not just be able to initiate the initial the joining of the channel, I should say. So make sure if you want to do it that you go look at that. The membership is, if you're on my channel page, there's a join button next to the subscribe button. And hey Daniel, how you doing? So that's where that is, and that's where you'll be able to join and then access it'll be like an additional tab then on your page, and you'll be able to see some of the information. It's since it just went live last night, I'll be refining, like there's a link for the downloads to the sampled instruments, which of course the first one isn't available yet. We'll be making the first one available next week, and so you won't be able to go to that yet, but the minute that it's live, you'll be able to actually it'll be a folder, and you'll just be able to go there and download the files from there. I'm toying with other ideas as well. In the past, I've done things where there's like cheat sheets on different features, but we're gonna look at what the group, whoever becomes a member, will do a poll and find out which features are really the most useful for people. I don't want to assume that I know exactly what people need or want. That's kind of an Apple thing to do, but I'd much rather actually get to know the people who are there and see what they're thinking that they would like. And so we'll customize the features for that. And the other thing, and this is maybe interesting to some people who are watching this, I am restarting now this coming month, one-on-one lessons with people. Not using I used to use Patreon. I'm not using Patreon anymore for a number of reasons. But I will be using Squarespace for scheduling. It's a super limited number of slots, and they're only like 3 days a week for a couple hours. So it's very limited. I think one of the issues I had in the past doing one-on-one lessons outside of YouTube was just finding the right repeatable time slot. And I had a number of people who I was doing lessons with who, for instance, could only meet like in the late evening. And so I'm just really locking it down to some certain daytime slots that work, that I can always repeat. And I've looked at the last 6 months of my life, and I just found the spots that were always empty. And so the link will go up for that in various places. I'll probably put the link to that in the description of this video, because the calendaring system is officially live at this point. And so that I think is going to be good, because I know I still every week I get somebody who writes me and asks me if I'm doing lessons still, or would be interested. And I say, I'm not right this moment, but I sat down, made like this year plan, and found the times that really do work, and those are the times that I'll be doing them now. So that's cool. And we'll have more information about that as well in the future. I think that's kind of an evolving thing as well, to sort that out, to do the best way. I have a super, I think it's a reasonable rate, considering how much it costs to take a university course with me. The one-on-one lessons actually turn out to be pretty much of a steal, but I know that money's money, and if you have it, great, and if you don't, then even a little bit is a lot. And so I just keep it a flat rate right now of $1 a minute. So we do it in 60 minutes or 30-minute chunks. So $30 or $60 for half an hour or an hour. But I won't talk too much about that right now, because that's really a separate thing than the membership on YouTube. That's more something where I'm hoping eventually we'll have like 100 members and a tight knit group that could even lead to collaborations among membership and people getting to know each other a little bit more. Having similar faces on the live stream so that when someone, for instance, needs some help with a project, that they can, coordinate and do that through other people who are members on the channel, and build a really tight knit community. That's what I'm always looking for in what I'm doing on YouTube. Looking for a group that can really grow together and become friends, even if we're like on the opposite sides of the planet. And so I think that for me, the feature of YouTube, which has been around now for a little while. I don't know if any of you are members on other channels, but certainly this is not a brand new feature, but it's new to this channel. And in the past, I was certainly doing things with Patreon, but it gets a little confusing. I know Patreon for me, I've had, people sign up for things on there, and it gets a little confusing to be looking in all these different places. I will say YouTube takes a little bit more of the money from memberships than Patreon does, but the integration directly onto the channels I think is probably worth that investment on my part. And so we'll see how it goes. We'll start with the first one, whoever the first one is. And then, if it's just like 5 people, I'm still going to do it for a while. We're not just going to say, oh, it's only 5 people. I'm streaming anyway. You know what I mean? It's like this, I think it's a great way to build that. Okay. So the other big news, at least from outside of this type of news, I'm getting on an airplane tomorrow to go to Minneapolis, which I think just got 12 to 15 inches of snow. They canceled almost all their flights yesterday, and they've resumed landing airplanes in Minneapolis. I believe that if they haven't yet, they will very shortly. And I'm going out there tomorrow, doing a visit. But as a part of that, I contacted a couple of the really amazing 100-year-old churches, which are downtown Minneapolis. And they're letting me in. I'm going to come in with my testing equipment. I'm going to be doing balloon popping primarily and creating impulse responses of at least 2 churches in downtown Minneapolis. Still hoping another one comes through, but I think that it'll probably just be the 2 at this point with the storm. And so one on Saturday, one on Sunday, about an hour in each case, creating a 3D model of the interior of the church and creating the 360 impulse responses at the same time. And that'll be some videos that I share in the future about that process. I've shared videos in the past about doing all the churches in the Czech Republic, cathedrals, and concert halls and castles. And so I've done a number of them by myself and with students. And this past year, I was able to go into the Salzburg Cathedral, the church where Mozart was baptized, and would have, and heard music and had his pieces performed. An incredibly massive, amazing church. And I was able to pop balloons and get some impulses in there, which are just incredible. And then I've done places in Denver during the pandemic and in the last year. And was finally able to get in and do some places in Oahu, Hawaii. And that was amazing. And so we're just continuing. We're expanding out a little bit. And one of the churches in Minneapolis has some sort of paneling, these I would say like tiles on the ceiling, which our guests have some sort of issue with them in terms of the reflectivity. And so I'm going in to do some testing and comparing it to some of the other churches of similar size, and looking at how those sound. And They've lacquered them over the years to make them, I think, more reflective. But so there's some questions we're going to be looking at and answering with those spaces. But of course, I use Logic for all of this in my testing and the final product of what I do. But because we've expanded into doing 3D models and photogrammetry of different spaces, and I have a LiDAR scanner that we scan the interior, we also now take the audio out of Logic and put it into the Unreal video game engine as we recreate some of these spaces. It's really, really cool technology. And some of the stuff we do and we break that down could be on a potential member only live stream, but some of it will be on just general public videos as well. So a lot of stuff happening. 2023 has started off to be kind of an interesting year. Some super big highs and some super lows, and we'll see what the rest of the year kind of brings. But I'm excited. I'm excited to do this thing with the membership, because every time I do a stream, and I've talked about this a couple times on recent streams, we have such good interaction with people who are watching. And great questions, great comments. It's like I've learned things, people have learned things who are watching, and yet we sometimes still get. I've had to like ban people from comments and block them out. We get a lot of sometimes riffraff, and I want to just tighten this down into those who are like really serious about being there, and similar to creating a curriculum at the university, something along those lines. I want to do a lot of polling with the members, finding out where they're at and what they want, and then create content and live streams where it's like being in the classroom, where we're covering those topics that the students really need to maximize what they've learned and how they're learning it. And then it's like we want to expand it. It's like we can do 2 different membership groups in the future. So we don't want to, if we just get back to like 500 people in the room, it's going to be pretty useless. So I don't necessarily want to keep it small, but I think pedagogically it makes sense to keep it smallerish. So we have multiple groups, and we work with those groups as often as we need to help everybody get to where they need to be, and we go from there. But I do think that's going to be a great way to really master this software, instead of just beating your head against the manual, or trying stuff that doesn't work, or searching for YouTube videos and hopefully you'll find the answer you're looking for. I can't tell you how many times I get comments on the videos that say something like, "Oh my gosh, I've been looking for this answer for like a year and I just stumbled across your video." That means I probably didn't title the video as clearly as I could have. There was a period of time when I was first making Logic content, when I was trying to come up with creative titles, and I found out later that creative titles make it harder to find things. I probably should go back to some of those original ones and just change the name. But it's fine. It's like that process got me to where I am now. But now it's like I want to be able to offer meaningful instruction to people. Nothing is less fun, in my opinion, in the long run, than getting into a room, creating content, just staring at a camera, and then just going on with your day. It's like that part is nice. It has a purpose, but I much rather be in a room like this where there's people talking and we can go back and forth and interact. So the interaction, I think, is important. And with these streams, in the membership, we're going to be using a service, or we're going to be using some stuff where, for instance, we can jump in a Zoom room or something and broadcast that as a live stream, and actually have members jumping on the live streams and asking questions, or demoing their work. It's like, maybe I can't take your project and play it on the stream because I might not have all the same exact plugins, right? But if you were to jump on like a Zoom call and we broadcast that into the live stream, then I think that there's some real opportunity there. Let's see. So Snapdrummer07 says, I'm in school pursuing a dual degree in computer science and music and am interested in teaching in the future. What are you interested in teaching specifically? And Jerome, welcome. I think you might be the first. I'm going to take a screenshot. Boop, boop, boop. Just took a screenshot. So we have our first member. This is not a membership drive today. We are going to do a membership drive when we talk about some cool topics. But today's more of an introduction and an announcement. So Snapdrummer is asking, I want to ask what area you want to teach in before I ask if you need your PhD or not. Because that's a good question. I do run into that question a number of times. We have a very successful pedagogy track in our master's program at CU Denver. And I think we have like 20 students in our program right now, and I think about 15 of them would like to teach. It's a master's program. And most of those students, most of those students will get some sort of teaching job, even without a PhD, but in recording arts or sound, like audio production, sound recording. Recording arts is a term that we use at CU Denver, but not everybody in the world uses. I hear it all the time from some of my British counterparts. They're like, recording arts doesn't mean anything. I'm like, do you know what it means? Well, but it's not what we call it. I'm like, but do you know what it means? And they say, yeah, they know what it means. It's the same as audio production, recording arts. It's the same thing. It's just terminology. But CU Denver, the program I'm at, is the second oldest music tech program like that, recording program, probably in the world, but certainly in the United States. Miami is the only school that's older than ours by 1 year. And we're talking like in the 60s and 70s. So Snapdrummer, music technology is one of the areas. If you look at actual music tech programs, everyone who teaches in those have PhDs of some sort. Music technology. There's a difference between music technology and sound recording or audio production. That's where the line is. Most of the time, because there are PhDs in music technology, it's almost always expected, if you want to be like a tenured professor someplace, that you'd have to get the PhD because that's the terminal degree. So terminal degree is what we talk about. There really are very few, if any, recording audio production PhD program. So the terminal degree for that is still a master's, is widely still considered a master's. Now, some schools really care that their professors have PhDs, and so they want you to get a PhD in a related field to audio production. But I still see jobs on the reg that only require masters for recording and audio production. So, between those things, you have to figure out where you want to be. I have a master's. I don't have a PhD, and I'm a tenured professor. And, I've written books and done research and got grant funding and, all kinds of things. But I still, so this is, how I kind of look at it. When we do our graduation ceremonies here with our students graduating, you get your robes, and the people with masters have these really plain black robes, and the ones with PhDs or other doctorates have all these like stripes and stuff on their arms. It is a series of classifications that are very important to some institutions and people, and fortunately for me, I guess, those don't matter. And it's not just because I'm less on the ladder. Even if I was higher on the ladder, I don't think it would matter. I'm interested in my students getting what they need to like pay the bills and have a meaningful life. I'm far more interested in the practical way of teaching than anything else. I think education has sometimes lost sight of that. Not everybody. I know there are like a bazillion amazing professors and teachers who care about their students and focus on that. But I know for a fact that some have lost sight of what's really important. Well, good luck to you. Um, so you'll have to figure out which of those. We do hire adjuncts sometimes with just bachelor's degrees. Um, but our full-time positions are almost always at least a master's. Sometimes industry experience can count for that. At our school, we've certainly acknowledged that someone may have all of the right skills after a career that's amazing and they should be teaching. But hey, Red Guitar, if you're just joining this, we've been talking about the new membership tier on this channel a little bit. I encourage you all to at least take a look at it. If you're not subscribed with the notification bell on, do that first if you're interested in content about Logic Pro. Don't do it just because I do Logic Pro content, but if you're interested in streams about things, the streams I will continue to be doing, you get notified if you have that stuff turned on. So that's the only reason I suggest it. Otherwise, do whatever the hell you want. But if you are interested in a really focused approach with a small community, that's what our front row student tier of our membership plans it's all about. It's about connecting and getting exclusive access to things and having input into what content we make in a more focused way. So if that's what you're looking for, then that's the place you should be. It's a relatively small amount of money. I think you probably spend more on other places pretty easily. It's cheaper by far than Netflix. Although this one you can't share your membership. I don't think. I mean, you probably can if you have people signing into the same account, but you don't want that. You don't want to sign into someone else's account, or you don't want someone else to sign into your account because of what happens when my children use the Apple TV upstairs and they watch their video games, their video game channels or their meme channels. It like ruins my feed for like a week. So I have to always tell them, stop watching your memes on my channel. You're going to YouTube is going to start thinking that that's what I want them to recommend to me. Whew. That's an intense moment. And Red Guitar says, I always miss the streams because of the time difference. This is my first, I believe. And partially we're doing it a little earlier today because of this amazing thing that happened in Denver. We had a little bit of snow yesterday. Not that much, actually. But I think around like 4 a.m. this morning, it was minus 6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really cold. In Celsius, that's colder for sure. It was very cold. And so they canceled the university for the day, which they canceled it thinking maybe there was more snow coming. I don't know. But so I got to do this stream instead of being in the classroom. Which I was bummed. My students, I think, were writing me and asking me, "What are we still going to meet?" And I'm like, "I can't." They told us that everything has to be shut down, even if it's on Zoom, demonstrating once again that maybe we didn't learn as much during this pandemic as I was hoping. But that's fine. So I get to do a live stream a little earlier. But if you're a member, one of the nice things is you get to actually write in when you're free. And then we actually get to plan some of the streams around the community instead of just whenever it works for me. So that's a huge change in the thinking about how I do my live streams. And it's one that, we're really committed to working with members to find the exact right times for this. And I think that's going to be one of the best part. And Jerome, we're going to be doing now that you're our first member, you're going to be able to weigh in when it works the best. If we need to do like a weekend stream or or whatever, or early morning in Denver and an afternoon where you are. I mean, that's one of the beauties of being a member is you actually get to have that voice on when we do these. But even if we end up doing one when you can't make it, you'll still have full access to the streams without advertising, I might add. I mean, all of these will be ad free, at least on my part. I think I can tell YouTube that they're not allowed to put ads on, but every once in a while, certain types of videos they've said that they'll put ads on for their own sake, but there will be no channel requested ads on anything, which will make it nice. And everything for the live streams at that point, we'll do a table of contents so you can just like skip around to the parts you want to watch. I haven't been doing any of that work on the current streams just because one of the, if I'm streaming 4 times a week like I have been, then the whole point is making them easier for me. But when we do the memberships, it'll be what's best for the members. So that's a change. Spain and the Netherlands. Awesome. Yep. And we should start talking. I want to make sure anybody who's in various places, I know when you're in the EU, it's not like it's that easy to travel, but it's also not as hard to go country to country than it is, for instance, to come to the United States, right? I'll be in the Czech Republic near Prague for several weeks this summer, and I want to do an international get-together for anybody who can, travel over for a dinner someplace or, one of our recording sessions, but just do like an open call to anybody who's going to be, who could potentially travel and meet up for a Logic Pro party, so to speak. So keep your eyes peeled for that if you had the opportunity to travel down to Prague for a day. I'm bringing 12 students from the United States. The trip is already planned. All the dates, all the students are committed, so it's definitely happening. But I do want to just have, one night where we can just call everybody together. Apple's a funny place. I have a hard time getting any Apple to do anything for me. So I just kind of do my own thing. Maybe there's like some sort of Apple Store thing that we could do there where they could actually host us in the store or something. But I wish I could make some more friends at Apple. Over the years, I've known people, but not close enough to like send them a text message, kind of get to know. Well, we're going to be going about 5 more minutes because then I'm jumping in my car, driving through the snow, which isn't really there, and going to a nice Greek cafe to get some lunch. Jerome, you'll be hearing from me shortly because I'll be reaching out to the members as they join with information about how to talk about next week's first member live stream. It could be that it's just me and you, and if that's the case, then we'll find the exact right time to do it. But I encourage everyone listening to take a look and consider joining. It's $2.99 a month, so $2.99 a month, and you get member exclusive live streams. You get the ability to do polls and request topics, and you get a free sampled instrument that I'm going to be creating myself each month. That's the initial bundle of things. I know the actual membership thing says something about a 60-minute stream a certain number of times, but we're doing them more than what that requirement is on our tier, just because I want to make sure we set up enough of these where people can come without always just being put into one time slot each week. So worry not, we'll be doing even more live streams for that group. So if there's any questions about anything, let me know. I know we had a good question from, Snapdrummer said something else. Don't answer if you're trying to stay on topic. But how much work do you see in DSP juice programming as a career? That is interesting to me, but feel it might be too small of a field. Well, computers are the future. I don't know if you noticed. I don't know, DSP specifically. There are certainly companies that would need programmers who can do that. And some of that stuff is going to be changing drastically in the next 5 years. Drastically. And I did a video about ChatGPT this last week. And it is going to be able to take your like colloquial text input, you just saying something, and it's going to be able to code for you and build all the stuff and then check the code and update the code. I mean, AI is going to change coding drastically here in the near future. That doesn't mean we don't need people who still don't understand what's happening there, but I believe more people are going to be able to code than ever before just by having ideas. Oof. But that being said, here's the thing. I know you talked about Snapdrummer. I know you talked about teaching. If you have coding background, which you said you're getting computer science, if you were to focus, say, for instance, this is not a recruitment speech, but say you came and did our master's program at CU Denver, and you got that master's degree with a focus in pedagogy. You have your computer science background. It would be hard for a lot of jobs to say no to you, because a lot of jobs want the art of audio production, record production, and computer science. You know what I mean? So it's like, too often in our jobs, we see one or the other. We see somebody who's really nerdy with computers and can do, and that's like an honor. That's not a slam. We see people who can do all of that, like super detailed computer programming, but don't know how to record like a vocalist. And then we see somebody who's like an amazing audio engineer, producer, and have no technical computer skills whatsoever. If you could marry those two, it's going to be a hard argument not to get a job at some point. So, look for the next level of your education to be really focused on, a niche area like recording and audio production, and then you'll find work. And then Red says, you took the words out of my mouth with ChatGPT. It's great. I love ChatGPT. I love the promise of it. I love how it's already working. And I think that we're in for a wild ride. I think the government in the United States is probably going to start trying to limit what it can even do, because it's going to be intense. But if we can do this right, I think that it's going to be a great research tool. And Thomas says, coding is art, just like making. I realize how I said that and why you would say that. I agree with you 100%. But they certainly look different in terms of art forms. I like your comment, Thomas. That's like a perfect comment. And Red says, I've already tried to make some scripter code, but it tells me that I need to have expert coding knowledge myself. Obviously, the results it gives me just spit out errors, but the future is bright. And actually, Red, one of the things I'm thinking for the membership of this channel, I've been really dying to make a series on scripting, and give some input. Not just a series saying I'm an expert, but exploring from a non-expert point of view how to do more with it. That would be a perfect member stream series. I don't think the general public is going to care about scripting. I don't think most people who watch my channel are going to be like, ooh, this is just what I've been waiting for. But it could be that a very focused membership group might be. So, and Snapdrummer had an idea for that too. Awesome. Check out Music 21, a Python package for music. Red says you'd have me on that one. I should have everybody on that one. Everybody watching, don't forget, go join or at least look at it. I'm not telling you that you have to, obviously, but as we transition, this is the last thing I'll say. As we transition to the new membership group, you will notice the streams declining in number unless you're a member, because we're going to start doing the member only streams. And so I don't want any of you to feel like, wow, what happened to this channel? Why is it not doing as much content? And the truth is, I'm probably going to be doing just as much content. It's just going to be in two different segments, one really focused and one more general. So keep that in mind as you're checking it out. I think I'm going to probably end this stream now. We've been going for about 45 minutes, 46 minutes. Thanks everybody for watching. We've actually had quite a few people jump on, and that's great. This time of day is a really good time for streaming. I think we catch a lot more of our audience overseas, as well as people around the United States. But thanks so much, and we'll be doing more stuff soon. So check back. Become a member. Join the front row student group.